Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Indira Ghosh from Jawaharlal Nehru University. Today we are going to talk on module 3-dimension approach to chemical database searching under the paper Computational Biology. After completing this module, you should be able to actually generate proper database from chemical repository or from open source database, etc. Also, one should be able to understand the importance and validation of pharmacophore, which should be used for searching the databases. We should also look into the protocol of searching a big 3D databases. We are discussing today all about this. How should we search the 3D database using pharmacophore? Major case, why should we search? That's the question first comes in our mind. Why we search? Yes, we should have a much larger searching capability and new compounds can be find out, which is very common answer. However, there are very important three features or three informations which I like to share with you. One of them is that the patent position, many cases, can have difficulty for one company to another company. Already known compound like captopril in squib was known and patented. However, Merck used a very efficient pharmacophore procedures and got a new compound which is sold as enalapril. This is a proof that how efficiently medicinal chemists find from one scaffold and go to another scaffold, which is also called lead hopping. Lead hopping is a very interesting problem which is also made available because sometimes the compound design may not be well in clinical or last part of the preclinical data is chemical designing. Mostly happens that the bioavailability or it becomes very toxic. However, the features contained are very important and very much interactive with the active site. What we do then is build up the pharmacophore and try to find a new scaffold which can be better off than the original ones. Third application is peptidomimetic. Many cases from the peptide template one can correctly make necessary functionalities, and using this method actually protease or HIV protease mod pharmacophore search was done and new compounds were found out. However, we must know one thing. Searches are best good as you ask the best questions. So, you must have a good hypothesis. That is, search query must have a very appropriate hypothesis. We also must have all the functionality that permits the expression of chemistry and shape and also the flexibility. It also requires a very good access of a 3D database which has many confirmation equipped with. Due to the combinatorial chemistry, explosion of chemical structures really helped the libraries, and high throughput screening with these libraries helped a lot for new scaffold or new molecule identification. How one does it? You first collect the libraries and run through HTS experimentally, gather this SAR data, then use this SAR data to design new pharmacophores and use the same for lead optimization. This is very effectively used not only by synthetic chemistry but by medicinal chemistry as well. Here I show a output from one of the very important slide borrowed from Michael Hahn and from Auxiliary software. Here everything is done is to show you how many ways one can have the facilities what I suggested. On the top on the slide is the left hand side is contains the pharmacophore and its compounds design. From there you generate a lot more new chemicals, datas, hit the chemicals and find which positions are not flexible or which positions are flexible. As well, you can have 3D model or where you can fit the surface to the receptor surface. The searching the database with a pharmacophore actually is depicted in this figure. The picture taken from the reference is given in the right. You start with chemicals, however, you may not know the active site structure or the molecule structure where it binds. But we assume that you start with the structure and you design the pharmacophore, which is shown in the middle panel, and then you search using this database or this particular pharmacophore, the large database, which contains many conformer of the same molecules. Many molecules, though, will be hitting your pharmacophore. Question is there a hypothesis that explains the difference in activity in the given set of molecules? What it means? It means that if I have a set of compounds in my database, will my pharmacophore, which is an hypothesis built, should distinguish between the active compounds from inactive compounds. Also, if I have such a compound, pharmacophore, can I use it for new lead searching? Certainly, yes. The reason is we may have a already known active molecular set, which I have shown you my previous module, and the compounds sizes can be decided in advance to choose for. Now we want to have all the covering conformation space. We should take the compounds which should also represent the features as many possible. Instead of atoms, we can have a sample, that is energy range, select the energy range for conformation space selections, and we can reduce the number of conformers by using these energy cutoffs. However, now we got ready with molecules with building the hypothesis and then continue it. This is a simple 5HT, which is very noticeably important, medical importance mostly. Query has been used by Hibbert et al. Here I show you just by diagrammatic how one converts the functionality, that is functional group like carbonyl, basic nitrogen and aromaticity, convert into pharmacophore, which is shown on the right hand side, lower half. This not only depicts the positions or coordinate positions of HB acceptor, positive ionization, hydrophobicity, as well it contains the distance between these three. This can be utilized for searching. One makes this kind of general features query set and use it for searching in the database. Feature-based queries are much more accurate than atom-based. Why? Here is an example. It's been done with like Hibbert query. You can see here what we have shown you, the circle, which is small circle. And then there is an acceptor, hydrophobe and positive ionizable, only choosing those points, not choosing the shape, not choosing the surface accessibility. One gets almost 1477 compounds list. And out of putting on a condition like some of the carbonyls are buried, hence we should exclude, we get actually 197 compounds, which makes the common between both and makes it more accurate to suggest the synthetic chemist. This is an example, really good example, to reduce a large number of atom-based search chemicals from, distinguish it from the feature-based or pharmacophore-based chemicals. Why we should do it is explained here, and that is 3D location constraint. Every constraint or poor indicator, any poor indicator for any superimposability. That is, two compounds cannot be superimposed if they cannot hit each other. Hence, here are shown how pharmacophore avoids the hitting of two atoms to their location and uses the constraint for that purpose. Partial feature mapping is very important, and user can actually choose them to give for their useful starting points. And one can get the pharmacophore, and it's shown in the left hand side and also the right hand side. The left hand side is a compound which is a good active compound, and some of the analogs were used to design the pharmacophore, which is shown by blue arrow. However, using that and allowing it to have a partial feature mapping makes it successful for marked compounds to find the new compounds. If you notice, especially the blue side of it, you would see the already existing compound does not map fully both the features shown by the arrows in the green color. However, the ones on the right hand side fits both the pharmacophore features. Hence, the new compound was found to be more active than the existing compound. Very important feature in the choice of this is shape complementary. And why it is important? Because it's shown in this figure. Shape complementary actually receptor surface model. Basically, shape complementarity taken care of, necessarily should be taken care of, because the receptor surface cannot be expected to have a large surface. So one does not need to know from any crystal structure or any active site. However, known active compounds which are binding to the active site, if taken care, the shape structure or shape or surface model can be built up, and that would help to actually to reduce the large hit list. Advantages are to do these feature-based queries automatically. What happens? We can generate the chemical functions by automatically. We don't have to really clearly understand every features. Second is surface accessibility are taken care of. We can do all this energy screening by using some energy cutoff for conformational space. We also can use a different kind of constraints like distance and the angle constraints. One must remember we must include stereochemistry options, and this is very advantageous. The reason is 2D searching does not take care of the stereochemistry options. Now, these are the success stories I want to share with you, and all of them are listed here. Many of them are done even better other than these, and just I would like to say, without knowing the crystal structure of each one of these cases, the pharmacophore actually found out the heating and found out the chemicals from the database. S antagonistics were found out, angiotensin 2 antagonists found out, HIV protease antagonists were found out. Some of the case study I may share with you, and many of the in future also many of these methods have been utilized to find new lead for this field of biological significance. Here I depict you the chemical like SB, which is from PDB, and one of this Smith, Klein and Behem compound. 3D structure of the protein was known, the ligand was known. Using the ligand, the feature-based search query were built up and use this to find out new compounds. And 15, how you find new compounds? We need to have database creation. The database normally comes corporate or even available open source databases do not come with the database with conformers. One can use parallel systems, parallel CPUs to build them up, and several other methods. Most often one uses Oracle database to store these different kind of structures. And also we can do another technique which is called hypothesis merging, which I have shown you earlier one example. And this database searching has to be very highly efficient because millions of compounds which having almost each compound might carry more than 100 structures has been properly stored in the databases. We should be depicting here how the molecules are mapped. Basically, this molecule shown in the left hand side just shows one conformer of the structure, and the right hand side shows how it can fit with two different chemical functions. So as I've described that pharmacophores are not only the just chemicals depiction of features, it can be an ensembles. So there is an opportunity of two different molecules mapping to the same features in two different directions. Also, the surface accessibility is considered here very much important to design the compounds or decide on which compounds and which features to give the mapping. Mapping also depends on the conformers. Hence, we must remember this while searching for pharmacophore and getting the new compounds. We must try to fit them in every possible conformers it can fit. Here I show you, using the previous example, how that hypothesis, that is a 3D object, was built up. And then, that is on the right hand side, we build up the 3D model, which is shown here. Used each of these coordinates and the distance criteria, and we got two compounds whose activity, bioactivity, has been actually checked. And these two compounds basically belongs to, one is RR of PD134308, a chemical. Another is RS of the same compounds. This is an elegant example of how one can distinguish, and actually it reflects the predicted activity and experimental activity, and you can find out how good a pharmacophore can select even between two stereoisomers their bioactivity. The compound which was very active is actually RR, and that has predicted by the hypothesis model was 0.2 nanomolar, and the experimentally found activity was 2 nanomolar. However, this is a test set, and RS compound was predicted to be 4.8 nanomolar and turned out to be 43 nanomolar in experiments. This shows and gives you the this power of the pharmacophore designing, and the compounds which was found out has no similarity in structure with the compound set which delivered the 3D pharmacophore model here. It's important to know the hypothesis, how they ranked, because we generate many of the hypotheses. And there is a calculation called cost function. One should look at that cost functions. Also, one should look at the correlation coefficient, which is a geometric fit with the structures. However, the simple score is how well the model describes the set of active molecules, and generally taken as a score with a mathematical overlap, basically to do with overlap, which is shown in this formula. Here is how we validate the model. The previous model which has been taken was validated not only for the compound but also for the trial. Here is a test molecule which was shown in affinity, and here you can see that actually this compound, which found to be experimental affinity is 1200 nanomolar, and the predicted affinity was found to be 8200 nanomolar, used and found the results. Another compound which is SC50998, this has found to be experimentally very high nanomolar, that means inactive compound. These two compounds have very similar chemical motifs, however, they have a very different affinity. So predictivity comes very nearby to the experimental affinity by searching the randomized trial procedures. When we search the database, we must have actually the shape criteria taken care. So our objective is take the molecule in its active conformer, use the specific shape of the search the database. However, we can always find the databases can be indexed by pharmacophore derived structures as well as docked conformation. And once we know all, we can be actually find how much range, minimum, maximum, average activity, etc., for all the molecules which are numbered or annotated in our 3D database. Here I show you the results by searching. There are two queries were used. One is ACE, S active sites, where active sites were not known, but the compounds inhibitor for S were used, and M1 is from influenza virus inhibitors. Here it's very simply to depict the two different databases like ACD or Derwent World Drug Index. One can actually search for all pharmacophore search or for shape search. Pharmacophore search one can do by a very quick fast searching, which will yield much less number of compound. On the other hand, if we have a best searching, that is include all the searches possible for all the conformers, we might get the same chemicals with two different or many different conformers are hitting. Hence, we get a much larger number of compounds when we do the best pharmacophore searching. Shape searching also gives us the same features. That is, if we do not by pharmacophore, only by search, by shape of the molecules, active molecules specially, we should be getting much larger numbers. Joining together yield us better results. Here is how the shape searching details can be used. Here are two queries. One is M1, comes from the influenza virus inhibitor pharmacophore, and S inhibitor pharmacophore. If we use the tolerance and if we do not use the shape, as you see it's very difficult for a picture pictorially shown in bottom that they cannot bind to the molecule. So even if you have all the pharmacophore principles satisfied, the shape may not be possible to hit the molecule when it comes to the structure searching. Here are shown two different databases. One is ACD Chemicals database, and there is a Derwent World Drug Index database. And I show you here the hits and conformers. So all of their conformers generated was much larger and almost equivalent for both the pharmacophores. However, number of hits are much more valuable information by ACD database than the drug database. So this shows that if we increase this tolerance, we may get something. An increment of the false positive will be increased. However, if we use the similarity volume, we can actually reduce the hits much less. And this is only by shape searching data, which is shown here as hits. So here I am summarizing how to really generate good pharmacophore and also evaluate the pharmacophore for the next how to do the database searching. One thing is very clear, that feature-based searching can be really powerful techniques because it actually gives the expression of chemistry, and also it takes care of surface available. Now, one can use both together or one can use separately both and then join together. In most cases, even partial mapping gives us a much better understanding of the new leads. Now, shape-based searching is a complementary for molecules at the active site, but most cases, almost all cases, we very well know the queries, the most interesting queries are actually the key for finding proper lead. Hence, we should design that. Here I would like to discuss with you some of the strategy how to select compound from a large repository. Normally the corporate repositories contain more than million compounds. Even the open source databases contains more than the million compounds. I would like to discuss the approaches, that is what generally one can do, what is the advantage and limitations, also what we are expecting out of them. So now we are going to actually do the job, that is got the pharmacophore. Now we are going to search for compounds. Generally the compounds are selected, at least they contain millions of compounds. So maybe this many numbers of compounds, and the question is what subset we are going to search. That is, do we like to find out around 300 compounds, 300k compounds out of it, or even smaller numbers? Compounds with bad chemicals and physical properties. Is that useful to keep the compounds which has bad chemical and physical compounds? That means, what is the chemico-physical compound properties? At least if the compound doesn't follow the probability or chances of making it to the drugs, we define them not to be very good compounds, like the molecular weights are too large, or they cannot be miscible with too much high hydrophobicity. That means if C log P is very large, the compounds cannot actually be making it to be available in the blood. Also, if it is too much charged, they are not possible to have the same miscibilities. These properties actually makes the compounds to go for further search. Can we do that? Yes, so best is first do a filtering with the physicochemical properties, and once we pass through those, only then use the pharmacophore properties. So here is a slide which shows that we should first search the compounds. We characterize or annotate the compounds as, well, backup compounds, which is little bit between 550 to 400 molecular weights, and that's the borderline compounds, and C log P 5 to 7. And we have good compounds. Most of these, which are bad compounds, we can throw away. So if we do the splitting, generally, this is an experience from the corporate database, comes out is, if the compound numbers is something like millions, you can see these numbers and you can very well see that around 50% found to be very good compounds, at least good compounds, and they are non-redundant also. Then there are plenty compounds which are bad, and many of these compounds, at least 24% of the compounds would be really ugly, means they have a very poor physicochemical properties. So one should search these first by this kind of filters, then go for the next level. Objective of compound selection is to maximize the overall diversity. The reason is diverse chemicals gives us the chances of lead hopping. Also, many in future, that is when processing compounds for their problem of bioactivity or toxicity also can be looked at this level. It also should maximize the lead compound similarity, and it should not have many compounds of the similar types. Also, there are two other diseases which I'm not addressing this time, is patent, avoiding the patent problems, as well as toxicity decrease. This is a picture of different type of compounds which we define in chemistry is called molecular diversity. So different type of compounds have, but can have all different, not necessarily different kind of features. As you see, likelihood is many compounds may possess the same features, however their organization may be different. Hence, having a set of different compounds is very helpful when you search for using your pharmacophore. Selection of compounds, as described earlier, has to have a dissimilarity base, or diversity has to be taken care. Few ways of taking it is, we can do a cluster based and pick up compounds from different clusters. We can as well do dissimilarity, that is Tanimoto 1 minus Tanimoto type. Many functions have been designed for dissimilarity based study. We can do the partition based study, and also we can design using the information from the compound library, having compounds of different kinds or different scaffold or different properties, and design them either factorial designing or de-optimal designing. However, these are the statistics knowledge important, and many cases people use those statistical knowledge to design this compound selection. A simplest possible strategy is, we can find the compound based on cluster. That means we can pick up few clusters. Depending on the density of the cluster, we can pick up the number of compounds. We can as well design compounds or select a set of compounds which are partition based. We can as well select by dissimilarity. And then what we should do is, as it's shown here, is to include all the three set of compounds which can have a superimposability or commonness between the two set of data, and that minus the duplicates or redundant chemicals would give us a good diverse set of compounds. I would just emphasize in silico screening. Basically, in silico screening of the compounds are to, as described earlier, just collect the generate this virtual library from all the knowledge like having assay, etc. Then score them according to and annotate them by certain ways, that is described earlier as well, and then you select the compound. And then if we have some holes, that is we do not find many compounds in some cluster, we can synthesize, do the assay, and continue to enrich the compound libraries. Slide summarizes. After we enrich the compounds, we should be able to find out a summary of how to find pharmacophore modeling. Hypogen pharmacophore model can be taken as an example, and then set of compounds selected from previous corporate libraries by using certain filters or collected by joining different techniques to retain the diversity can be taken as a regression analysis. And here is example how one can show the one of the example here is shown for one of the real good hypothesis and analysis here, where that value shows the correlation factors are quite high and the null cost to fixed cost differences is quite good. So this pharmacoformat can be used and has been used to identify few compounds as it's shown from a corporate library, and prediction was experimental MICs was 0.5 and theoretical prediction was 0.62. Fitting number is also shown here. So as you see, three different set of compounds were shown here having different scaffold or substituents and generated from this library or generated from corporate library using Hypogen. This shows you an example of success story of using pharmacophore. Strategy is set of active ligands start from, generate the hypothesis of pharmacophore, find out that by diverse selection and some of the physicochemical properties, create the virtual library, and then use the pharmacophore to select few novel potential leads. The procedure actually is take good and backup compounds. Preferably we should take good and backup compounds, generate all the multi-conformational 3D databases, search by 3D databases by the pharmacophore and go for the novel lead. This is the protocol, and all of this has been in some of the cases has been coded as computer driven and can be utilized regular basis to generate new leads depending on new pharmacophores. What is the utility of having good and backup? The beautiful system here, pics actually been shown here by picture. Good and backup gives you not only diversity analysis, also gives you pharmacophore motifs, collect both good and backup compounds, gives the facility that in some cases if the scaffolds are not so successfully designed, we should be able to design the compounds. Students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this whole module. One thing we learned that having diversity and pharmacophore searching is the very efficient for large database searching and more of probability that you get lead compounds. Data should be analyzed for its size, shape and other diversities like molecular weight, maybe the C-log-P, etc. To actually generate a virtual library, and pharmacophore search should be done using that virtual library. There is no one algorithm for everything. So cluster based, partition based and just simple selection based can also be adapted, and clustering method must be many to be applied. Single clustering method may not be acceptable for your full classification and annotation of compounds. However, I tried to give you a very small summary of a large topics, which is how to search database using only pharmacophore and associated topics. Next, other modules will discuss the same using different kind of approaches as well. Thank you.